Here we've got our live training session, community guidelines, how it works. And to start off, just want to make it clear, I know most of my students already know, but we do have some new people joining us. And just to know that martial arts is for self-defense, is for a self-defense situation, and it's only to be used in a self-defense situation. So just be responsible with what we're learning. We are learning a self-defense martial art, so it can be dangerous and is only meant to be used if you're in a situation where you really are in danger. I'm going to be running these sessions hopefully every day, so even if it's for a short period or 40 to 45 minutes, I'm going to run them every day, so please prepare before we begin training. Have a drink, have some water present if you need to grab a drink while we're training. Make sure the space around you is safe, and make sure you've been to the toilet and everything like that. So yeah, train safely, train to your level. What that means is we've got a wide range of people that are going to be doing these sessions, different ages, different abilities. So make sure that you just train to a level that you're comfortable with. I will give variations on stuff we're doing, so if people can't do certain things, then they have a variation. But just train to your level and listen to the guidelines as we're going along. On the train safely, also remember to have your space already clear, so there's nothing around you could hit, or even though Wing Chun's a close range style and there's not big movements, make sure there's nothing around you that you could end up striking and injuring yourself. And also, I know some of you are doing it at families and with friends together, so just make sure that you're not too close to each other for certain drills. So no abusive comments. So how I'm running this group is, look, we've got our chat section and I would like to keep it productive and positive with everything we're doing. So if there's any negative comments towards the channel or also towards other members in our community, that will be removed and reported. And we're here to learn martial arts, so if you want to learn martial arts, come here. If you're not interested, then there's many other channels you can go to and spend time on there. But anything that is abusive towards especially anyone else in the group will be removed, and you will be blocked from the stream. So we're working together in this community, learn and grow together. So I want feedback from you guys, by the way, on stuff, so I can improve it as we're going along. But also, we're going to work together with the people you're working with and everyone else that is here to learn. And like I said, we've actually got people from all over the world that have tuned into this stream, which is really nice. That's one of the positive things about the online side of things, is you can meet people and chat with people from all over the world. So this is going to be step-by-step instruction, and that means we are starting from the beginning. So if you're a beginner, it's perfectly fine. If you're more advanced or you've been training with me for a while, then you can still work the drills to your level. But I'm going to be going step by step, making sure it's clear for everyone why we're doing each of these things and the importance of it, so that later, when we do, in later sessions, do more drilling, you already have a firm understanding of what we're doing, and with a firm understanding, the quality of what you're doing will be higher. So we're going to take our time and go step by step, make sure everyone's clear on everything. And I will ask you guys, I was going to do either at the end we can have questions, a short question time, or after each drill we could have question time. So I could do the drill, you could train it along with me, and then we could talk about it, or we could save that to the end. So drop in the comments what you would prefer, because today I'll probably go through it and then at the end have question time, but I could change that around if people would prefer to do the drills and then after each drill have a quick see how everyone is, see if there's any questions. So I don't mind doing either. A bit like when we're in class. So warm-up sets. The way we're going to warm up is actually doing warm-up sets of the motions that we're going to be practicing. And that's the best way to warm up for practicing techniques anyway, is to do warm-up sets of them. So I will guide you through that. But I have put prior stretches, and that means if there are any stretches that you would like to do them now while I'm talking, or do them 5 minutes before the live stream begins. So that if there's anything you specifically want to stretch out, you do that. But otherwise, we're going to have warm-up sets, then working sets, which I will guide you through. And just keep the chat relevant to what we're doing to do with martial arts and this community and feedback for that. So just keep things relevant for that. Then I've got a little brief overview, and by the way, I'm going to post this in the description after this page, so you can actually have a look over it after to see what you've done, and if you'd like to review any of this stuff, it'll be there. So our first session, what we're going to do is we're actually going to begin with an introduction to meditation focused on breathing. And this is a great way to introduce you to meditation. And really, martial arts begins with breathing anyway. So we're going to start with a real basic introduction to meditation by focusing on some deep breathing to open up your whole diaphragm. Now, I'm also going to put some links in to an article on meditation that's on the website, and a video that actually explains this kind of breathing a bit more. And you could check that out as well if you want. It's just to give you some extra stuff to support you. If you want it, it's there. Then we're going to go into our techniques, and we're going to begin with our basic stance. Our first stance is a fundamental. All the stuff we're actually going to do is fundamentals at the beginning, because that's what we need to learn. That's what supports everything we're doing later. And how well you do these basics is how well you're going to perform the more advanced or more freestyle drills later on. So all these are beginning techniques, especially the ones we're doing today, are going to be real basic, building you up step by step. So starting with that basic stance, our first stance, it's going to be our square on stance, which we'll talk about when we get to it. Then going to do our changing guard, which is our fundamental about covering the space in front of us, and something that people associate a lot with Wing Chun because it's covering that center line. Our center line punch, which becomes a chain punch later on, again with focus on that center line, which I will explain more about later. Vertical palm, a very important palm for self-defense. Our second stance, our arrow walk, and we're going to look at one piece of footwork with that, our step and slide footwork. So that's going to cover our fundamental techniques we're doing today, and we will build upon them as the weeks go on. And then at the end, we're going to do a little bit of exercise, not too much, and I'll guide you through that as well, giving you variations. So that's what we're going to do. So grab a drink before we begin. And any questions or anything, let me know now before we start. Okay. Cool, it looks like everyone's good. So, like I said, the first thing we're going to start off is with our basic stance, our square on stance. And this is fundamental to Wing Chun. And in all martial arts, there's generally two stances. One where you're square, facing forward, and the other where you've got a foot forward. So you have one leg and arm forward. There's some specific things that we do that are particular to Wing Chun, which I'll be going through. But just to explain a couple of the points, I'm just going to show you the stance first, and then I'm going to explain a couple of the points, and then we can train it together. So in our basic stance, we're going to bring our arms forward, back, bend our knees, toes, heels. And then when we close, heels, toes, push down. Let me show you from the side. We open, our arms forward, pull back, bend our knees, toes out, heels out. So we end up in this square arm position. Can everyone see that clearly? Okay, my head's a little bit cut out. But to be honest, that's fine. For this point, at this part, I'd rather get my feet in. It's more important that you can see the feet. And I just want to explain a couple of the points about this basic stance. So every stance has got its strengths and weaknesses. One of the strengths of this stance, or practicing this stance, is this is the general position that we're normally standing when we're talking to people, or when you're standing around doing anything. Normally you are square on. You're not in a side on ready position, but normally you're just facing square to someone. So the first advantage of training a stance is you're getting used to actually a position that you probably will be standing in. There's certain elements we're adding in to train, but one of the first big points is that you're training from a stance being square on to someone where your shoulders are both facing someone is the normal way that you normally stand. The second advantage of this stance is that your hands are the same distance to the person. So in comparison, if I'm square on, my arms are can come both out. Boom, 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 same distance. If I turn my body side on, then the rear hand and rear leg have a longer distance to go. So by being square on, we can strike with both hands at the same time. So it takes the same time to strike. Yeah, sorry, just looking at I did try with the curtains open, but it was actually just as dark. So probably for the next stream, I try and work out a different position and try and get some more lighting for that. But thanks for the feedback, because I need to think about that. So yeah, with the stance we've got options of both hands when we're facing square onto someone, and that goes with covering and striking, whether that's covering forward or striking forward. The other thing is, with this stance, we learn to close off the center line because we close our hips. So if you saw me doing it, you open your toes up and then your heels. I'm going to try and get a bit closer so it maintains the light better. But you open up your toes first and then your heels, and what that does is actually closes your hips. With your hips closed, you can cover the center line quicker. I'll just show you. So with our heels closed, we can cover this center line, protect this center line. If our toes are out, it's just harder because our hips are open to cover this center line. So we have our hips closed, and then we can cover very quickly. The reason we're covering that center line is because all our vital body parts that we need to protect, our eyes, our nose, our jaw, our throat, solar plexus, and groin area, we need to protect that so we can cover it quickly by having our hips closed and also our basic guard with our hands occupying the space. If our hands are occupying the space already, it's very hard for someone to strike through or get in there, but we are more susceptible to circular strikes coming round, but we're protecting that center line. It also means we can attack the center line quicker, so we can attack them targets that I stated quicker. So they're the main advantages of being square on. Some of the disadvantages of being square on, and while we have our other stance as well, our arrow walk, which is one leg forward and arm, is because when we're square on, we're a bigger target. The more sideward we go, more bladed, the less of our target our whole body is. So if we're square on, we're a bigger target. If we're side on, we're a smaller target. But we don't have, or it takes longer for us to use our rear hand and our rear leg. So that's one of the big disadvantages of being square on to someone. Also, our point of balance, if some force comes directly into us, we have no support behind us because we've got no leg behind us. If you're in a side-on stance, you have a leg behind you, which means that if a force comes in and a leg's behind you, you can take it into the ground, like this. If I have one leg behind me, if force came into me forward, I could take it downwards into this leg. If I'm standing square on, if force goes into my center, it's going to knock me right back. But we do have our turning, our basic pivoting, to stop that happening. If force comes in, we just pivot off. But this is again one of the disadvantages of being square on. And you need to know these things, so after, if you know the weakness of, or the disadvantages of the stance as well, you know what to protect yourself from. So that's one of the other big points. So let's give it a go. We're going to do it a couple times, break it down, and then you can give it a go with me. So, to start off, I just tell you as well, your hands are going to come forward from a hands down position, feet together. And this is actually a back fist. So keep your hands loose and you just bring them straight forward. And this is actually a back fist using your knuckles onto the nose. So it's not a power strike, it's a whipping strike, like this. And when we first open up, we're practicing that whipping strike. And then we pull our hands back. This is an elbow. So when we pull our hands back, we're practicing a backwards elbow, going backwards. We're then going to bend our knees, open up our toes, then our heels. Then our hips will be closed. And then when we close, we bring our heels together, our toes together, and then push down. And then we can relax. But still maintain your posture throughout. Because when we're practicing this basic stance, we need to practice keeping our body stable, balanced, and good posture. So focus on pulling your head to the sky, make sure you're not leaning in any direction, and balancing your weight perfectly underneath you. And just so for reference, your center of gravity is roughly half an inch behind your belly button. So just keep that as a reference, because when we're moving around after, we want to keep that as our reference point. So I'll show you, hopefully it's not too dark, but I'll show you how it works. We could try like this as well. Let me know if that's better. So when we open, our hands come forward, give it a go with me. You pull back, you bend your knees, toes out, heels out. When we close, heels, toes, and push down. Let's do it again together. So your hands come forward, pull back, bend your knees, toes, heels. And when we close, heels, toes, and push down. Okay, we'll do some practicing of it, but let me just ask quickly, was that better with the curtains open? Can you see me a bit better? I put on a white shirt as well because I was hoping, because I had a black one on and I thought it was making it darker. But yeah, does that, can you, yeah, it is a bit dark, isn't it? I can see because my video's lagging the video of me after. So it looks like a shadow. I could do it closer and the lighting would be better, but you won't be able to see my feet. I think for today we'll just have to deal with the darkness. If everyone's okay with that. And then we just go for it. Let's do it. I'll do some closer ones as well so you can see my top half. It will be worse with the light behind you. Okay. I try and stay in distance. The thing is, because the web distance wise, if I turn the webcam sideways, you won't be able to capture much of my body, because I need to get quite far back away from the webcam to capture my whole body. But I'm up for changing. Okay, appreciate that. Well, for now we'll just keep going with it. So let's practice opening and closing. I'll do a closer up. Well, actually, we need to get our feet in it. So feet together, hands by your side. We're going to bring our hands forward, pull back, bend our knees, toes, heels. Then when we close, heels, toes, and push down. So I'm going to say open and close. Let's give it a go. I'm going to get a bit closer. Hopefully you know the foot position now. So hopefully I'm going to come a bit closer for a couple shots and then I'll move out. So open. Close. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open. So now our weight should be centered down. We shouldn't be leaning to one side. We want to drop our weight to the ground, but still be ready to move. If we did need to move, we can. So we're not totally relaxed, we're not stiff, we're relaxing, but we're still ready to move. So think about keeping your body posture as straight as possible. We shouldn't be leaning forward, we shouldn't be leaning back. Just keep with your hips back, just keep your head pulled to the sky, knees bent, waist drop down, weight dropping down to the ground. When we open our feet and we close them, we want to try and keep our head the same level. So we don't want to open like this or open like this. We want to keep our body at the same level the whole time to the best of our ability. So let's give it a go a couple times trying to do that. So I think we're open, so let's close. Open. Close. Open. Close. One last time. Open. And close. Well, it's good. It's a good challenge for you guys to try and remember everything that I said, because it is quite dark. So it's a good challenge for you guys. All right. Let's try and, well, let's move on to our basic guard. And our basic guard is about, like I said before, the center line, covering that center line. And when we form this, we actually form a triangle with our arms. So if you think of a triangle as a shape that you can use to deflect and to get leverage, that's why we're using this shape. It's a really powerful, a really strong structure. So triangles are used in all kinds of structures, in bridges, because it's such a strong structure. And when we practice our basic guard, we're creating that triangle with our body here. So our arms are creating that triangle. But we're going to have one hand forward and one hand back. So these are our wusao positions, or our guard hand. And when we're doing this, we need to pull our hand backwards. And we're thinking about this part of our arm. So we keep it forward, we want to pull our hand backwards. Our arm is bent at roughly 135 degrees when we're doing this. And we have one hand back and forward to have 2 lines of defense and 2 lines of attack. And it's really similar to fencing. So Wing Chun's like fencing, but close range. So we're not as open our body, we're more closed because of the close range, but it's very similar to fencing. So this forward hand and back hand is also known as the mother and son, or the father and daughter, because they always go together, so they're always meant to be together. If you've got one hand forward, you're always meant to have one hand back. At the beginning, as a beginner, it's very important to have your wusao supporting everything you're doing, all your shapes. So when we change, we're going to drop and shoot our other hand straight through in that center line. So this is going to be our basic change of guard. So when we're doing it, we just drop and shoot through, drop and shoot through. Elbows stay down the whole time, and the reason our elbows are down the whole time is because it's a stronger structure. If we lift our elbows up, if something pushes into it, force, it goes into our shoulder and goes through us. If our elbow's down, we can take it down to the ground easier, and we can ground the force. I always say to my students, it's like if you're helping someone with shopping, you hold the shopping down by your sides with your elbows closed. You don't hold the shopping with your arms up like this in the air, because it gets so tiring and puts a lot of strain on your shoulders. It's the same in Wing Chun, really. We're always looking to put the least amount of strain on our body and use our joints to their maximum. So we're going to try that changing guard from our basic stance. I'll do this one closer actually, because you won't need to see my feet anymore. But let's open up our stance. Okay, I'm going to stay a bit closer. I might have to do it on my knees. That's good. Yeah, that's fine, we'll just go ahead. So if you open up your stance, so hands forward, pull back, bend your knees, toes out, heels out. Now you're sitting in your stance, good posture. We're going to bring our hands forward to create that triangle. We're going to pull one hand back. We have a front hand now and a rear hand. And we're going to drop and replace to the count. So we'll do a warm-up set to get positioning. And so do this nice and controlled. We're going to do one warm-up set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, always coming over, 8, 9, 10. Couple more. 1, 2, 3, straight down the center. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're gonna stay relaxed. It's very important we stay relaxed, but think of throwing the arm out there. So it looks like this. And this is really relaxed. It's just throwing like this, throwing your arm. So from the side, it looked like this. And this is the kind of energy we use in Wing Chun, that's relaxed and quick. So Wing Chun was invented by a woman, so it doesn't rely on muscular power, but relies on the power we create from our joints and relaxation. So we're going to try it like this. So try and keep your arms, shake your arms like this. Try and keep your arms relaxed as possible when trying this. And we're going to do a set like this. Also breathe out when you're doing this motion and just throw. So if we bring our hands up, we're going to the count. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3. And if you can hear with the breathing, you purse your lips and blow out as quick as you're changing guard. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do another set like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to actually go to our center line punch. Same concept, taking that center line, punching straight forward. Sorry, I'm doing it on my knees. But the punch stays vertical. So we keep our elbow down, we don't lift our elbow up because it's going to rotate our hand. We turn it vertical, and you actually want to match the jawline. So it doesn't have to be perfectly vertical. Turn it slightly sideways or diagonal so it matches the jawline. Same thing with your center line punch. Elbows down, drive your elbow forward, throw it out there, keeping it nice and relaxed. When one goes out, the other one comes back. So when you're punching, the other one's going to come back. But with our punch now, we don't bring the hand as far back, because with our wusao, when we're doing our wusao, our basic guard, we need to protect our chin, so we have one close to our chin. But when we're doing punching, because we're going to do continuous punching after, and we're going to do 2 and 3, we need to make sure that the hand's actually a bit closer so you can follow up from it. So you don't need to bring your hand as far back now to your body. Keep it the furthest back to the crook of your other arm. So you can keep it as close as you want, but don't go further back than the crook of your arm. So when we're doing this punch, nice and relaxed, we're a bit more warmed up now, so we can go straight into working sets. So breathe out, throw your breath out, and match the speed with your breath. It's very important that when you're doing this punch, you match the speed to your breath. I'm going to be doing it on my knees, so I'm in the video. So I'm going to do this one straight forward. So if you're still in your stance, great. If not, open up your stance. Bring your hands forward, pull one hand back, close to a fist. One punch to the count, 60 to 70% power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. We're going to do 2 punches. It looks like this. Punch, punch. So the count will be like this. 1. Now we're doing 2 punches together. So we're starting to link our punches together, and it's becoming a chain punch, a chain of punches. Let's give it a go to the count. Again, 60, let's say 60 to 80% power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good work. We're now going to move on to 3. It's going to look like this. 1. So don't sacrifice your technique for power. Every punch counts. And what that means is when you're doing 3 punches, don't start rotating 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This happens a lot. Every punch has to count, so it'll look like this. 1, 2. So every punch has the same power. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One last set, 5 punches. Remember to keep your hands and your knuckles facing forward. So don't start lifting your hand up when you're doing this, but keep your hands, your knuckles facing towards the target. One final set, let's give it a go. 5 punches to the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Pull your hands back. Bring your left foot to your right, or your left knee to your right knee, and you push down. That is our center line punches. Well done if that's your first time, by the way, because 1 to 5 is pretty difficult. But that's our center line punch, becoming a chain punch, a chain of punches from 2 to 5. And the reason we keep it close after is to keep the pressure on the other person. So we're going to move on to our vertical palm now. I just remembered I forgot to do the breathing at the beginning, so I might do it at the end. But I know we're running quite far into it. If everyone's happy, I just won't rush too much, but I'm going to try and keep the tempo up. But still explain details, because they're important. So we're going to our vertical palm next. Again, elbow needs to stay down. So this elbow stays down when we're doing it. Our vertical palm means fingers up. The target for this is the nose or the jaw, or you can do it to the solar plexus. But in general, it's going to be to the jaw to knock the head backwards. And in self-defense, this is a really good technique because it doesn't risk injuring your knuckles. So palms are really good for self-defense. And normally when you throw a palm, you'll be more relaxed. If you close to a fist, in general, normally you start tensing up, which makes you slower and less powerful, and also alerts the other person. If you tense your fist, they're going to react to that because they're going to see tension, they're going to see fist, and they're going to think, oh, something's going to happen. But if you keep your hands nice and relaxed, and you just do a palm from here, it's very hard for the other person to see. So for self-defense, these are really good technique, all palms. We're just going to cover the vertical today, which, like I said, is that palm, fingers up, thinking about hitting with the heel of your palm to the nose or to the jaw to knock the head backwards. And this does not require a lot of power at all to knock the head backwards like this. As long as you keep your elbow down and push through your elbow, and don't push your hand and then start pushing with your hand. You drop the elbow and drive the elbow through, and if you drive the elbow through, this is really easy. If you want to give it a go together, just put your palm on the person if there's someone with you. I know some of you have your families, you can just try it very gently. Obviously you can injure someone's neck if you just go full pelt, so just do it gently. You can see how easy it is to knock someone's head backwards by using your elbow to drive it. Elbow force, we use this a lot in Wing Chun. So when we're practicing this technique, it's going to look like this. I'll just show you from here. I'm going to do a squat instead. So we're going to put our palm forward. It's going to be our vertical palm, other hand back, and we pull back and we throw our palm forward. So this pulling back is super important because it gives us extra power. If we pull back quick on this side, we'll throw that arm out quicker. And this is known as one arm in martial arts, not two different arms. So this is using both your arms to become one arm to practice your palm. Again, this is also an elbow back, this motion. So let's give it a go. Open up your stance. We'll do a warm-up set first to get positioning. We're always aiming for the center. So aim towards the center of you, forwards. Put your right hand forwards. Thumb, we need it tucked in, but not across the hand, because obviously you can hit it. So tuck it in, but keep it just to the side of your palm. Drop your elbow down. Let's give it a go, a warm-up set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Let's go to a working set. So 60 to 80%, you choose. The reason we don't do 100, by the way, is because we're striking in the air. And if you're doing a lot of reps, you can injure your joints because you're over every time throwing that out. So when you're doing anything training in the air, never go 100%. Save the 100% for bag work, heavy bag, or wooden dummy. So that's the time to go 100%. But in the air, when you're doing a lot of reps, keep your elbow always slightly bent. So you never want to totally straighten out your joint because you'll put pressure. Even when you're palming, I keep a slight bend in the elbow to protect my joints. So always keep that bend when you're doing these strikes, any of your strikes and kicks. Is it light? So let's have our right hand forward now. We're going to our working sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One more. 1, 2. Remember to pull the other hand back as quick as possible. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent, that's our vertical palm. So just pull back, left leg to right, and push down. If you need to grab a drink, grab a drink. I'm gonna grab a drink quick. So there's some of our basic strikes in Wing Chun. There's loads, but they all follow the same sort of principles in general of keeping that elbow down and using that explosive energy. Because as well, Wing Chun's a close range art, you need to be able to go from 0 to 60 super quick. So that's why we start practicing with explosive energy after. So we're going to have a look at our second stance, our arrow walk, practice a bit of footwork in it. So this is going to be, I'll just explain it first. I know it's difficult with me just explaining, but from our basic stance position, we're going to start off with step our left side forward. So we're going to step our left leg forward. Now when you do this, the easiest way to get the distancing of your feet is to actually just jump a couple times, and you'll find your feet will naturally go to a position where they're comfortable and still underneath you. And what that means is you still can move in any direction quick. If you step too wide, you'll find it hard to move in any direction quick. But if you had your feet too close, it'd be really easy to knock you over. So you want to find the right distance for you. And when we're training the footwork, you'll kind of work it out a bit more as well, what feels natural to you. But we have to remember to keep our toes pointed on the diagonal. And what that means is if our left side was forward in this position, our toes are going to be pointed like this. So our front leg on the diagonal and our rear leg. And that way we can still cover the center quick, which I will show you now. Hopefully there's enough light to see. And we're going to bend our knees, drop our weight to the ground and lift up our basic guard. Our front toe roughly lines up with our back heel of our back foot. So our front toe lines up with our back heel. We don't want to come feet directly behind each other because it becomes like tightrope walking. You can move forward and back quick, but if someone touches you on the side, you'll fall over. We don't want to go too wide because it slows down our movement, moving forward and back. We want roughly front toe to back heel. Teaching with my hands. Let me see, hopefully. So, from this position, say we opened up our basic stance, we step our left leg, left arm forward. You can actually jump up a couple of times like this. You'll find a natural base. And then check your toes to make sure your front toe lines up with your back heel. Toes are pointed on the diagonal, so our hips are closed still, so we can cover this line, our inside line if we need to. Same arm forward as the leg. This is our basic arrow walk stance with a leg forward stance. So let me turn this way as well so you can see. So my front toe lining up with my back heel. I don't want to come linear like this because I lose my balance, and I don't want to come too wide as well. It creates a big target down the center and it's harder to move forward and back. So jump up a couple of times like this and you'll find in general that you're in a good position. Then look at your toe, front toe, back heel, and then check that your feet are on the diagonal. This is our basic arrow walk stance. From here we're going to practice the most simple footwork first, and actually probably the most important for keeping your balance and stability, and it's step and slide footwork. So you step and then you slide your other leg to catch up. And when we step one leg in Wing Chun, and in most martial arts you step the other foot as well. So you've got yin and yang feet where you go step, step, but don't just step one. So with this step and slide footwork, if we're going forward first, we step the front leg, rear leg catches up. Don't step too far that your balance starts changing. It's actually short, quick steps, but we're going to start off slowly. And this footwork is the most economical for keeping your balance while moving, in case you need to defend or strike off it. But when we need to move quick, we use a different footwork, which I will show next session. So let's just give this one a go together. I'll show you one time and then we'll do it together. So open up your stance. I'm going to do it to the side. So open up your basic stance. Step your left leg and left arm forward. Bend your knees so your weights drop to the ground. Check your toe quickly is lining up with your back heel and that your feet are on the diagonal. And when we move forward, it looks like this. Step, front leg, slide rear leg. When we move backwards, it looks like this. Step, back leg, front leg catches up. When we go to the left, we always move our left foot first. When we go to the right, we always move our right foot first. That's so we don't cross over our feet. So if I face it this way so you can see, if I go to the left, left foot first. If I go to the right, right foot first. You actually I wanted you to see, but you actually want to make them steps really small. So step, step, really small. We don't want to step across ourselves and then other leg out. So let's give it a go together. Forward, step. Back, step, slide. Left, step, slide. Right, step, slide. Forward, back, left, right. We're going to change our feet and legs around. So we bring our front leg back, and then our right arm and leg come out together. Bend your knees again. Check your front foot is not coming too linear across, and you've got space there. Toes on the diagonal. Let's give it a go together. Forward, back, right, left. Forward, back, right, left. Forward, back, right, left. Last time. Forward, back, right, left. Pull your feet back, left foot to right, and close stance. Well done. So these are the real basics and fundamentals that you need to get right, and then you can start building upon. So next session I'm going to add in the launch step when we need to move quickly, and hopefully I would have got a better position and better lighting. So thanks for putting up with the first attempt of this live stream. But we're going to finish up with a bit of exercise. But just before that, I did want to show you guys the breathing, as it's a great way to relax off your body, and it's something you can practice or do throughout the day when you're feeling a bit tense or you feel like you're building up tension. Just to stop, find your own little quiet space and just focus on your breathing. So freeing your body of tension and calming yourself is extremely important in Wing Chun, because to be able to react properly and in a well-mannered way and know when we need to defend ourselves, we need to remain calm, not scared or not angry. So one of the methods that we use to help us with this is breathing, meditation and form. But it starts with breathing. And to make sure your breathing's right, we're going to practice some deep breathing, making sure we're using our whole diaphragm, not just our top half. Normally people just breathe into their chest or even just their throat, and it creates this tension in your body when you're breathing up here. And short breaths, it creates this tension. But by breathing more deeply, we can relax our body off and use the whole diaphragm to its maximum potential. So to help practice this, we're going to put our hands onto our stomach, and this is going to be our focus point for when we're breathing in through our nose. So we're going to breathe in through our nose, and then when we breathe out through our mouth. But we're going to focus on inflating our stomach region first before our chest, and then breathing out. So it'll look like this. It might be kind of difficult to see from on there, but you're breathing into your stomach and then your chest, and then you can breathe out. So we're going to give 10 breaths a go, and the easiest way you can do it standing. There are other ways that I show in the video. If you want to check one of my recent videos I did on YouTube on this breathing, and I talk a bit more about it, and you could check that out. It's something that you can use anytime throughout the day, so it's a great little practice. But let's give it a go. 10 breaths. I'll do it with you. I'll direct you, and see how you feel before we start doing it and how you feel after. So just stand straight, stand comfortable, shoulder width. Bring your hands onto your stomach, and we're going to take a nice deep breath in. Try and inflate your stomach first before your hands go out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And out. Last time, breathe in. And out. And slowly relax your arms and relax a second. So it does take like a little while to sort of get used to, but over time your breathing will open up more and you can breathe in for a longer period. And when you are practicing that, do try and breathe in for as much as you can and breathe all the way out. So try and get rid of all the air from your body when you're practicing that. So that's what I actually wanted to do at the beginning, but I forgot. So we're doing it now before we do our exercise. We won't be doing the form today because we're just looking at the fundamentals, but I will be covering the form in future videos and going into detail about it, different ways you can train it, the concepts and ideas behind it, and the philosophy behind what the form teaches you. So I will be doing that. But first I want to get the basics down, and the form does help teach you the basics and the concepts, so I will be doing that as well. But we're just going to finish up with some exercise, and we're going to just do some basic exercises, starting with a push-up. Now, how we train push-ups in martial arts, we're going to breathe in on the way down, and breathe out on the way up. So we're breathing in, and out. Now if a push-up's too difficult, you can't complete a push-up, that's fine. You can see over there, you can use a shelf or anything, something higher, so you can still complete it than being horizontal on the floor. So find something raised that's stable and you can do the push-ups on there. We're going to do push-ups with our elbows closed, down close in behind us. And you've got two choices, palms, doing it on your palms but elbows close in, like when we're doing our palms, or doing it on your knuckles. For some of you that have been training with me for a while, and we practice on our knuckles, we practice our vertical punch. So we come to a position where our hands are in here, and when we're coming down we breathe in and we're going to breathe out. This is the most basic way of breathing while you're doing it. If you can, a slight pause at the bottom before you come up. So we're only doing 10, and then we're going to go on to the next exercise. So this is not going to be too difficult, but there's two variations where you can either use something to assist you, something raised, and you'll be able to do it, or just focus on the negative part, which is the bit going down. And that means that you just go down as slow as you can, reset, and then come back up. I'll just show you quickly what that would be, that negative, just practicing the negative part of the push-up if you can't do a full down and up. So just doing the negative would look like this. I know it's hard to see. This would be the negative, go down, reset, get back up on your palms or your knuckles, and then go down as slow as you can. So that's the other option, or using a raised surface, you can use that. Just make sure that you keep your body as straight as possible. Don't let your glutes go up in the air or hang down either and bend your back. You want to try and stay as straight as possible, and actually squeeze your glutes and squeeze your abs as well when you're doing the motion. So you choose your variation you want to do. We're going to go down, and then actually I'll just count 1 to 10, but don't rush. If you can, do a slight pause on the bottom motion. I Let's see with the... I'm actually going to drop it down. Let's try this. Tell you what. How about... There you go. So if this is too difficult, you've got the raised surface or you've got the negative push-up. The negative is this. Just going down because we're stronger going down. So go down as slow as you can. Then reset and go down as slow as you can. So let's give it a go. You choose which one you want to do. The 10 push-ups, if you're one of my students, on your knuckles, because you're used to it. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's your 10 push-ups. From there, we're going to go into leg raises. And when we're doing our leg raises, we're going to try and keep our legs completely straight. You might not be able to see the top of my legs on this. Let me bring it up a bit. So we're going to go into leg raises. We support our lower back by bringing our hands under, like this. And our legs are going to come straight up. If this is too difficult, you can bend your knees slightly, but try and keep your legs straight, hands underneath to support. Let's give it a go to the count. Breathe in as we go up, out as we go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can see every time I move too far back, it's getting dark. So, you should be able to kind of see what I'm doing. But for tomorrow's stream, I'll try and get more light further away. It's pretty difficult with the webcam because once you get to a certain distance, it doesn't seem to capture it. But I think you can still see really the motion there to do it along. We'll do one more exercise and then you will be done for the day. We've gone a bit over, but it's the first time doing it, so there were a lot of issues. So let's finish off actually with a plank. And when we're doing the plank, all we're going to do is try and keep our body straight as possible. Knees don't touch the floor once we go up. Squeeze your glutes and squeeze your abdominals. So we want to squeeze here and squeeze our glutes. Keep our hands up, and we'll aim for a minute. So when you're getting into a plank position, make sure you push your heels back so it supports your lower back. Don't let your toes go forward, but push your heels back when you're doing it, and this will help support your lower back. Our arms, we're going to bring them down into this position. Let me see if I can get boom. We're going to bring our legs straight out, push our heels backwards, and we'll aim for a minute. Let's give it a go. So get in your position, hands down, push your heels back, and from now feet don't touch the knees, don't touch the floor. Just focus on your breathing. We're going to do a bit longer every day. Today's a minute. Use this time to think about all the stuff we trained. Try and remember what we done. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Nearly there. And relax. Okay, well done everyone. Well, I'm gonna, like I said, I will post in the description a review of everything that we've done, so you can have a look over it. It's a bit dark, so I've left out a couple of things, but I want to get the lighting sorted, so thank you all for putting up with... You want to do sit-ups? Okay. I wasn't going to do sit-ups, I was actually going to do frog kicks. And sumo squats. Do you know what, let's do it. We might as well just do it all. We've come so far. We've gone over our time, but I normally go over time anyway. So, whoever's left... Oh, everyone's still here. Wow, well done guys, let's do it. We're going to do sumo squats, and then frog kicks instead of... They're better than sit-ups. We'll do some sit-ups as well if you want, but I'll show you frog kicks first. So, frog kicks look like this. I'm going to do it at an angle because the lighting's better like this. Your hands are going to support by your side. We're going to bring our knees in and you're going to kick straight out and bring your knees back in. Let's give it a go. Let's do 10. Let's breathe out when we kick out. Straighten your legs totally. 1. Breathe in when you bring your legs back. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Excellent, let's go straight into sit-ups. Again, if you find it difficult, if you've got a person with you, you can actually hold each other's feet. If you find it difficult, just do crunches. The crunch means that you don't actually sit up, but you still squeeze this top part, you still squeeze your abdominals. So if you can't do a whole sit up, if you can't come all the way up, then you can just do crunches on this part, which are still really effective, because if you want to work on your abdominals, it's more about the focus and squeezing here as you're doing the motion. If you got this, you don't squeeze, nothing happens, no results. But if you focus on squeezing the muscle, you'll feel it burning. So let's do 10 sit-ups and 10 crunches. If you can only do crunches, then just do 20. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, breathe out as you come up, in as you go down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, control it on the way back, 10. Let's go into crunches, so you're going to squeeze this top part. So knees in close. 1, breathing out when you squeeze in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do 10 more. 1, 2, 3. I'm enjoying it now. You asked me, now I'm enjoying it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. When you're standing up, you can come onto your side like this. Bend your legs. Fold up like this. I'm not teaching this now, but you can give it a go. Bring your legs around and you can come to standing. We're going to finish up. We're going to finish up with sumo squats. Toes out, feet wide, come far out, arms out in front of you. Keep low, so don't extend your legs straight out at the top half. What are you going to do? 10. So from here, open up wide. Hands out in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Push your knees out. 6. Breathing on the way up, out on the way down. 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do 10 more. 1, final 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Crawl forward onto your stomach and pay respects. Well done. All right, team. Well done. Excellent. Thanks for everyone sticking with me. Everyone that was here is pretty much still here, so thank you for sticking with me on this first session, and I'm going to be running it again tomorrow. And like I said, as we've gone over more of the details, we can spend more time drilling it after, but I want to make sure people understand why we're doing each of these things. So as the sessions goes on, we'll spend more time drilling, but I do want to build up the understanding and quality of what we're doing as well. So I will be teaching as we're going along. And yeah, any feedback, just, we're still here. Good work, Ash. Remember as well, take your watch off. We're gonna end the stream. Don't worry, I'll save some burpees for the future sessions. There's many more exercises that we can add in, but gonna be ending the stream. I'll give you a minute if you want to put any feedback or any questions about anything. Just throw it in now and I'll try and answer it. Other than that, we'll be back tomorrow. It'll be a more condensed session. I think we went quite long, over an hour and 20 minutes. It was meant to be like 40, 45, but that's no problem at all. And hopefully I'll be able to get the lighting sorted tomorrow, and I'll probably be, I actually want to try outside, but I thought with the wind there might be a problem with the audio, but I actually think there might have a better location to try out with better lighting. Oh, I'm glad. Thanks for letting me know that Leon and Charlotte, glad you guys had a great time. I've really enjoyed doing it as well. So really, yeah, I appreciate everyone staying and doing it. So thank you. And like I said, I will put a link in the description. Hey, my pleasure. I'll put a link in the description about what we did, and you guys can have a look at it if you want to as a reference. And every session I'm going to try and, every session I will put a brief overview of what we did so you guys can look back at it. And as always, you're welcome to message me if you're new to this channel. You're welcome to message me with any questions, and if you're one of my students, also you can message me. Everyone's got my number anyway, so you could just private message me about everything. Hopefully, I've been keeping in touch with Sifu, and we can find out when the classes are starting back up for you guys. And yeah, and hopefully in this whole situation, just remember to take care of all your family and everyone around you, and make sure that you keep in contact, even if you can't see, your grandparents and people like that. Even if you can't see them, give them a phone call, because I'm sure they appreciate knowing that you're thinking of them. So give them a phone call, and just everyone stay safe. And yeah, thank you again. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 11, Mother's Day. Also, make sure you make your mum a cup of tea in the morning. Alright. Don't forget to pay respects.